All right, it's time for another Dirt Daily, and today I'm going to do a little walk around underneath a Jeep 4xe. This is the electric hybrid Jeep Wrangler. It's a four-door version, and the one that I have behind me is specifically a engineering concept. It's not really a concept, but more of like a mule. This is an engineering truck, and now it's being used by an aftermarket company known as Bestop, and they are building it into a SEMA vehicle. But that's kind of besides the fact. What I'm going to do today is walk around and try to explain, to the best of my knowledge, how the electronics of this whole system works. Basically, you have a front axle just like every other Wrangler, solid axle. And then behind that is the engine. On the 4xe, it is a 2-liter with a turbocharger. On the front of the engine is the e-torque system. And the way that works, as far as what I understand, is when you are accelerating, this electric motor helps turn everything in front of the engine. It kind of runs off of the same accessory drive, and it helps propel the vehicle during acceleration. Then behind the engine is the transmission, which you can see right here. This is the ZF 8-speed, but in this compartment here, I believe it's right here, is where the torque converter would normally be, and on the 4xe, there is an electric motor in there. So there's literally two electric motors, one in front of the engine, one behind the engine, and those work in conjunction with the battery pack to propel the vehicle, in addition to the engine, depending on what setting you're in. If you are in full electric mode, it just runs off of these motors. If it's in full throttle acceleration, it's all three working together. If you are in gas mode and you want to save the battery for later, it just runs off of the engine. This is the same 8-speed transmission, but I don't know if it's just the calibration or if it's a completely different bear in that it uses the electric motor in place of a torque converter. And from what I understand, there's a clutch. There's actually two clutches, one in front of the electric motor and one behind the electric motor. So it's kind of really complicated. There's a lot of stuff going on. Electric motor, engine, clutch, electric motor, clutch, transmission, and then you get to just a normal transfer case, just like you would find in any Jeep Wrangler. You can see it up inside there. There's no rear drive shaft right now because the rear end is getting swapped over to a Ultimate Dana 60, which the front will also get replaced eventually, but that's for another time. That's part of the Bestop SEMA build. Then there's you'll also notice that it's pretty tight in here. Normally, a Wrangler would just have the fuel tank, but this has multiple things going on here. You have a fuel tank, and you also have this giant computer brain. There's a battery pack, and from what I understand, there's batteries up inside the passenger compartment, like underneath the passenger back seat. But then there's also this thing, which I don't think is actually batteries. I think this is like part of the computer that helps everything do its job. I may not be 100% correct on that, but this is the way I understand it, so that's the way I heard it. Stealing from my friend Mike Rowe. That's the way I heard it. This is the big ECU computer module dingus that talks to the battery pack, which I think if you go up through this hole right here is probably where the battery pack is. So underneath, pretty much your basic Wrangler. 4-link with a track bar in the rear, 4-link with a track bar in the front, solid beam axles, normal old drive shafts, transfer case in the exact same spot. I don't think the transfer case or drive shafts or axles are any different between a 4xe and a regular gas version. It is, however, different when you start getting into all of these computers and all these batteries and all these motors. So there's a quick underview of a Wrangler 4xe. This one is a concept project vehicle that I'm helping my buddies at Bestop with. They brought it over here to do a little bit of work on it. It's only here for a day or two, so I wanted to walk around underneath it because I haven't had a chance to actually check one of these out. Here's the other thing. From what I understand, there's these really big orange wires, and it seems like if there's anything dealing with the high voltage that runs these motors, it's in these orange wires. So if you are ever working on one of these things and you see these big orange wire looms, be cautious, because that could be some pretty, look, you can see some over here too. From what I understand, that's part of the electric battery motor system. So be careful, high voltage, it'll make your hair stand on end. All right, that's it for this Dirt Daily. Thanks for tuning in. I will show you more of this Jeep when my buddies get back, and we can put it down on the ground and show you some neat stuff that they are doing for the Bestop SEMA project truck, Jeep. Thanks, bye.